Hi! In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn your Royal Typewriter into a USB keyboard or an iPad dock using the USB Typewriter conversion kit. First, let's talk about what models are compatible. This will work with a Royal KHM, KMM, or Royal Model 10 typewriter. It will not work with a Royal Model 5 typewriter or with smaller portable models, although I do have a separate kit available for Royal portables. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing is, if there's a cover underneath your typewriter, you're going to have to remove it. Just loosen the 4 screws and then it should pop out of place. Next, we're going to remove the crossbar, which is a steel bar that rests underneath the keys. First, remove this screw on the left-hand side of the keyboard. Then, remove the corresponding screw on the other side. If your typewriter doesn't have these 2 screws, what you'll have to do instead is loosen this set screw on the inside of the typewriter. Once that screw is loosened, the crossbar should pop out of place. Next, remove the spring that is attached to the right side of the crossbar. There should also be a hook that is attached to the crossbar, and you'll want to remove that too. On some models, the spring and the hook simply clip on, but in others, you'll need to loosen a set screw before you can remove the spring. For now, you can leave the spring dangling, but you should take the other end of the hook and remove it. If your crossbar has a piece like this on one end, you'll have to bend it 180 degrees so it faces in the opposite direction. If your crossbar has metal tabs like the ones shown here, you'll have to remove them. You can either just bend them back and forth until they snap off, or you can cut them with a Dremel tool. Now you're ready to attach the electronics to your crossbar. Put the circuit board out on a table like this, and then slide the crossbar into place as shown. Take a second to make sure that the crossbar is perfectly centered. Now, apply a thick bead of hot glue down the length of the circuit board. After the glue is dry, you'll notice that there's about a 1/4 inch of extra contact material that sticks out past the crossbar. Just fold any excess back over the crossbar. Then, apply a thin bead of hot glue to hold that crease in place. When you're done, the crossbar should look like this. Before we reattach the crossbar, there are 1 or 2 things we have to do to the typewriter. First, take the comb that runs underneath all the keys and bend it down at about a 45-degree angle. This will make room for us to reattach the new crossbar. The next step is to remove the paint from each key to expose the conductive metal underneath. You can use a coarse grit emery board, sandpaper, a metal file, or even a Dremel. Now we can reattach the crossbar to its original position. Just reattach it using the screws you removed earlier. Then clip the spring back into place. The crossbar should now have some spring to it. Every time you hit a key, the crossbar should snap back into place. However, if the crossbar snaps too far back, each key will become jammed up against it and won't be able to move. So, we're going to have to brace the crossbar back from the keys a little bit so that it can't move too far. Simply take the piece of the comb that's closest to the spacebar and push it up forwards. Now the crossbar has something to rest against and it won't snap too far back. We don't want that piece of metal to touch our contacts, so put a piece of tape underneath it. The tape will cover up one of the contacts, but don't worry, your kit will still function properly. The next step is to attach the 4 rubber bumpers that came with your kit to each of the white dots on the back of your control panel. Once the bumpers have been stuck into place, place a bead of hot glue on either side of the control panel, and then stick the control panel onto the back left corner of the typewriter. Hold it in place until the glue sets. Next, take the flat gray cable that leads to the other circuit board and clip it onto the connector on the lower right side of the control panel. Now, find a screw underneath the typewriter that you can remove easily. Once the screw's been removed, scratch away the paint underneath. Now, take the green wire that came with your kit and attach it to the typewriter using the screw you just removed. Take a second to identify the screw marked C on your control panel. Unscrew that screw, then strip the other end of the green wire and insert it into the corresponding hole, and then retighten that screw to secure the wire into place. Alright, your project's almost done. The only thing you have left to do is to attach sensors for the spacebar and for the shift key. To finalize your project, visit the link shown here. Thanks for watching, and good luck!